In Islam, there's two ways of getting something. Two ways of getting something. Imran, focus. The first way of getting something is getting it yourself. And the second way of getting something is getting it from someone else. And there's a third way, which is in the middle. And that is you not actually getting the information yourself. You do what? You take the information from another source. One of three things. Let me repeat that. Number one is you get it yourself. Number two, someone told you what to do. And the third way is someone brought you information, but you didn't find it your what? Yourself. Everybody understand this? So the first level is I've learned and I've studied Islam. I open up the Quran, I open up Sahih Bukhari, and the Hadith says do this, do that. The Quran says don't do that, and that's what I follow. Everybody can't do that, obviously. Everyone isn't a scholar. Everyone isn't a student of knowledge. Everyone doesn't have the understanding, the willingness to do that, and that's not obligatory. And the second level is for Riyadh, you to ask me a question, and I tell you the answer to the question, and I give you the proof. The reason why you can't sit like that is because a hadith and this book says such and such, so on and so forth. He said, Jazakallahu khairan. For you to take that from me, then you have to do what with me? Trust me and respect me. Not to be a liar and not to be someone of inaccuracies, that I know what I'm talking about. But did you yourself read it? No. But from the familiarity of the hadith, from me, so you have a general idea that Mufti is telling the truth. And the third way is for me to tell you, don't sit like that. And you say, Jazakallah khairan, and then that's it. He takes my view, my opinion, based off of who I am, what he knows about me, what he thinks and feels about me, and that's it. So if you blindly followed someone and asked someone a question, they were a qualified scholar, that's one thing. If you yourself found out the information, then that's what? That's one thing. If someone brought the information, a trustworthy source, then that's what? That's one thing. But the problem is in me following you, or you following me, and I'm totally what? Unqualified. You blindly follow me, and I don't know what I'm talking about. I never studied, I never learned. I'm just some average Joe Blow type of imam. That's a problem. That's what? That's a problem. If Riyadh, if he was that simple-minded, not saying that he is, but if he was, and he thought that any imam is a scholar, then that's one thing. Perhaps he can have an excuse. But Riyadh is smart, and he knows the difference between gold and between silver. Just because he's an imam of a masjid does not mean that he has knowledge. Riyadh understands that from his common sense, from his family teaching him, his father, he knows that common sense, that doesn't make sense. And he blindly follows someone who isn't qualified, then he's going to get sin. Because he's following his what? His desires. Well, Imam Mufti said it, so khalas. That doesn't mean Imam Mufti has knowledge. You know that he doesn't have knowledge. You know that he's unqualified to be followed. So if a Muslim followed someone that was a good Islamic role model, that had knowledge, that was known for knowledge, that's one scenario. If you just follow anybody that came on the television, or anybody that looked like this, or walks like this, or talks like that, then that's what? That's a problem. So it depends on who you're asking and who you're following. And the religion is simplicity. Nothing about the religion is difficult. Simple, easy religion. My job as a layman Muslim is to ask someone who has a ilm. It's just simple. If he's wrong, whose mistake is it? His mistake, not mine. If he lied to me, it's not what? It's not my problem. With the condition that I asked someone that was what? Knowledgeable and trustworthy. Knowledgeable and what? Trustworthy. Someone that had integrity and had the proper qualifications. It is not my job to read and search everything. I work 12 hours out the day. I have a wife, I have 5 children. I'm not a real smart type of guy. I never learned Arabic. It's not obligatory. But it is obligatory for me to use my brain just a little bit. And that is by asking someone that I see from a distance and I respect him. I respect his religion. He prays in the masjid. He covers himself. I don't see him with women and drinking and smoking and this. I respect his deen. And I also respect the knowledge that he has. As for someone whose knowledge I really don't what? Really don't respect. I really don't respect his deen, and I still ask him questions, then I'm now what? At fault. And the confusion has come, brothers and sisters. The confusion and the religion has come by these 3 levels being mixed up. The blind follower becomes a scholar, and the scholar wishes to blindly follow. and they force it upon the people. You have to ask my sheikh, you have to ask him, only him. He's the mullah, he's the mufti, the sheikh of hadith. He can tell you, no one else can tell you. Or someone says you have to read it yourself. You can't ask the scholar, you have to read it yourself. The people have lost their proper what? Roles. They lost their what? Their proper roles. That's not your job to research. It is not your job to be a sheep or a blind follower. You're a hafiz of Quran, ya akhi. You know Arabic. Your job is to do what? Research. Everybody understand this? You're in the middle. You're not strong enough to be by yourself, nor are you to be what? On the basic level. The problem comes when the people do what? Switch their roles. And it becomes cloudy. And that's the chaos that we live in today. A scholar becomes a jahil, and the jahil becomes a what? A scholar, unfortunately. And then there's fanaticism, there's bigotry, there's prejudice, there's racism, and all of these things are mixed up. And that's why fiqh seems so difficult. Abu Hanifa, Shafi'i, Malik, it's so hard, it's so difficult. Without the proper what? Knowledge, proper the rules, the fundamentals. Without law, there's no what? There's no order. Allahu A'lam.